Smart Grid Implementation. Lecturer, Dr. NORSHAKIRAH Abdulaziz. Group Member, Fatin Yuratika, Amarasafika, Muhammad Nakiuddin, Khairul Amirin, Mohammed Amirul Muhammad, Modazmir. Introduction to Business Intelligence. Business intelligence also can be defined as an umbrella that have variety of software applications that use to analyze an organization raw data, and it can make improvement in decision making, cut budget and analyze new way for business opportunities. It also known as a set of tools to coax data out the enterprise system. SEO is also used by to detect unproductive business processes that are ripe for re-engineering. It can help users to back up with hard numbers for the business decisions that still use on gut feelings and anecdotes. Introduction of Smart Grid. So, what is Smart Grid? Smart Grid is a system that uses application of computer intelligence and networking abilities from electricity distribution system. Smart Grid also is one of the resource that can make improvement on operations, maintenance and planning. It also can make sure each component from the electric grid can do both on talk and listen. For using this technology, if anything happen, the company will know right away, because some of the components will stop sending sensor data to make sure all components grid from the transformers to power lines to home electric meters that of IP address and effective of two-way communications. And last, Smart Grid also manage the distribution more competent, energetic about the maintenance and respond to outages faster. Background: Smart Grid in Malaysia. Interoperability in a smart grid domain is crucial to ensure the seamless information exchange between devices and systems in the domain to execute their intended functions. Next is Smart Grid also can make a standardization bodies such as the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, i.e., International Electrotechnical Committee (IEC), and National Institute of Standards and Technology (NIST). Figure 1. TNB Technology Roadmap Destinations and Enabling Technology. The concept of smart substation is based on integration of intelligent secondary system equipped with the latest advances in information and communications technology (ICT), and the primary components of the electrical substation to improve the substation reliability, security and efficiency. According to Philippe Porsche, EX 61850 is the standard for communications networks and systems within electrical substations, defines the substation information model and the information exchange mechanism. Next slide is Smart Grid Structure. A typical smart grid structure is illustrated in figure above. It contains 4 subsections, which are generation, transmission, distribution and control network. Each network interconnected from various locations, information exchange and communicates through smart communications systems such as an access point with wired or wireless communication infrastructure. Raw information on the network healthiness or performance is obtained from smart information systems such as a smart meter, sensor and force measurement unit (MU). So, real-time network monitoring, management and control are performed at the control network such as the Electric Utility Control Center. This slide we will review about the benefit and disadvantage of smart grid. The literature review of smart meter. First is benefit of smart meter. Benefits from implement this smart grid in energy industry, especially in TNB, such as it will help improving energy efficiency. It also will reduce the impact of environment, reducing the power loss of the electricity transmission, reducing power disturbance costs, and reducing massive infrastructure. The smart grid would be very effective at reducing operations and maintenance costs by reducing needless trips, and by sensing signs of equipment problems. Smart grid technologies would be more flexible to forms of renewable energy generation and would have the capacity to motivate changes in power flow. Next is disadvantage of smart meter. There are 2 types of problems that can make the failure of smart meter. First is kill switch. One of the major drawbacks to the user within the limits of the smart grid is the introduction of kill switch. It is difficult for the utility to cover the electricity supply to the house. With the introduction of smart grids coming from remote kill switch can access immediately to control the delivery of electricity to homes. And second is lack of electrical pricing bills. One of the major smart grid concept is intended to eliminate the peaks and troughs in demand for electricity. Energy companies will raise the price of electricity during peak hours and reduce it during periods of lower demand. The last slide of smart grid implementation, we will talk about the challenges of smart grid. The smart grid is an electricity network that can intelligently integrate the actions of all users connected to the generator power and the use of both in order to ensure economically efficient, sustainable power system with low losses and high levels of quality and security of supply and security. These are all 4 challenges that faced by smart grid implementation. First is lack of awareness and operational efficiency. The main problem with the use seems to be a lack of awareness of standards by those involved in smart grid system design at a high level and the lack of clear best practices and regulatory guidelines to apply them. Second is distribution of electricity technically. Smart grid is a technical challenge that is much easier for the infrastructure and additional information on the electrotechnical infrastructure. Every device connected to the smart grid at the same time. Continue. Next is transmission grid capacity. Increasing the level of intellect in a transmission grid to improve the reliability and robustness and address risks through the use of technology such as system protection and defense, wide area scheme, coordinated voltage control, and last is the complexity of the technology. It means the utility implements smart grid has to get used to a new set of technologies. They understood might want to get to grips with this innovation before adding big data infrastructure and applications above. And lastly, the recommendation and conclusion about smart grid. For future impression in smart meter, dual tariff smart meter will be designed and different by usual smart meter the TNB use. This design of 2 rates that shows peak time and off-peak time. Peak time rates will be alert to user to reduce their electricity consumption. This system also efficient because it can be monitor their electric consumption and reduce bill utility of electricity. End of slide. Thank you for listening.